They're very, very traumatic. I mean, when you think about sexual abuse or sexual assault, that's like the most intimate aspect of victimization that one can experience.
A Fargo man sits in the Cass County Jail tonight, charged with child sex crimes. His arrest coming after local police were tipped off about a video including the accused and the alleged victims.
Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero has details on the case and how victims of these kinds of crimes move forward.
Wyatt Kukert was arrested by Fargo police on charges he sexually assaulted two 6-year-old girls. Police were tipped off by officers in Brookings, South Dakota, and the 22-year-old's bond was set by a judge at $200,000.
Yes, I have.
For these young victims of sexual assault, experts say the trauma can linger for decades.
Adults need to really take ownership that it's our responsibility to protect children.
Christopher Johnson of the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center says there are signs someone can pick up on of a child who's been sexually assaulted.
If they know things that you know a child just shouldn't know that, or they're simulating acts where you know that someone had to really teach this, that is something that would be a definite red flag to us.
In court documents, Kukert told a Fargo police detective that the incidents happened at his apartment or his mom's apartment in Fargo, and that there were as many as 7 times when the young girls were brought over and he made sexual contact. The incidents occurred over a 2-year period, and Johnson says people need to speak up if they witness inappropriate behavior.
I do believe it's on all of us to say something, or at least to get someone else involved.
He says there's been a shift in the last decade on how child sex abuse cases are treated by experts, with victims no longer getting placed to blame for assault.
You know, what kind of circumstances did we create? What kind of environments did we produce that allowed this type of activity to happen in the first place?
The most important thing for victims is to immediately seek help for their trauma, because the road to recovery is a long one. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
The 2 young victims in this case are getting help at the Child Advocacy Center in Fargo, and we're told they did not have physical injuries. The Rape and Abuse Crisis Center offers free resources to victims, and you can remain anonymous.
The suspect in a murder case out of Becker County has been arrested. The homicide took place on June 9th at a home about 20 miles northeast of Detroit Lakes. 27-year-old Jamie Lee Bevins Jr. was found shot to death. Deputies say Ronald Wayne Elias Thompson III was arrested in St. Cloud, where he's being held on outstanding warrants.
Police are investigating an alleged assault in downtown Fargo tonight. It happened on the 500 block of NP Avenue at the bus depot. An eyewitness told Valley News Live there was a chase involving 2 people with a knife. Police tell us the victim had a cut on his hand. They don't know what provoked the incident.
The former manager of the Farmer Cooperative Elevator in Ashby, Minnesota, will spend 8 years in prison. 56-year-old Jerry Hennessy took nearly $5.5 million from the elevator over 15 years. He spent much of the money on exotic hunting trips around the world, his home, and credit card bills. During sentencing today, Hennessy said that he didn't know what he was thinking and that he's very sorry. He was ordered to pay restitution of $6.5 million to members of the cooperative and the IRS.
A doorbell camera once again capturing a crime as it happens. And now a Fargo family is warning you about always checking your locks. It happened near the 3900 block of 50th Street South just before 4 this morning. You can see a man stumble up the stairs and try to get into the South Fargo home. The man later made his way to one of their cars and tried to get inside, but it was locked. Then the man fell asleep in one of their other cars, and that's when they called police. James Dahl was arrested for unlawful entry into a vehicle. Fargo police say they don't believe Dahl had any intentions to take the vehicle or anything inside, adding he probably just needed a place to pass out and had the wrong house or car.
4th of July fireworks will light up the skies in less than 2 weeks, but next year, those same displays could come with a large price tag. President Trump wants to impose $300 billion worth of tariffs on Chinese imports, which includes fireworks. China produces 99% of backyard fireworks, along with 75% of professional-grade fireworks. Memory fireworks owners in Bismarck say they're not letting the tariff affect this season.
We're going to do the best that we can for our customers, keep those prices low, and we're going to remain optimistic and not worry too much about this tariff.
The U.S. Trade Commission is working to exempt fireworks to avoid an economic impact on the industry.
The Senate's top Democrat says he doesn't believe members of Congress from either party have an appetite for war with Iran. Chuck Schumer adds the president must explain his strategy for countering Iran and worries the U.S. may bumble into war.
The president may not intend to go to war here, but we are worried that he and the administration may bumble into war. We need an explicit strategy. And we need, most of all, for the president to tell the American people what the strategy is. We also need Congress to approve any funding of any war, which would be highly unlikely, I think.
Earlier today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she is pleased President Trump did not launch an attack.
Pentagon staff lined up and clapped as Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan left the department on his last day today. Shanahan made the decision to step down as acting secretary after some details were disclosed about domestic problems and his divorce. Shanahan said that he wanted to protect his family from further public scrutiny over the matter. President Trump said he would nominate Shanahan months ago, but Shanahan was never formally put up to lead the Pentagon.
Many college students may take the summer off, but there is no break when it comes to finding money for school.
Jacob Noterham tells us where North Dakotans stack up when it comes to borrowing to pay up for tuition, books, and housing.
According to the New York Fed, there is $1.5 trillion in student debt in America alone, and some states are expanding their role to relieve that pressure. From 2008 to 2017, North Dakota led the country in increased spending per student, increasing more than 37%. This according to the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities. While other states were cutting higher education during the recession, North Dakota was one of 5 states to increase funding.
Our legislature has been very good about continuing to fund education to the point where we are ahead of all other states in that regard. And that's enabled us to move from the 41st on the list of, how much we're funded per FTE up to the 9th.
In the following years, the university system would see budget cuts of nearly 20%, affecting students and their costs. And some students are more unprepared for those costs than others.
I visited with a family this spring and I said, well, I imagine your son has the FAFSA all lined up, and she said, what's FAFSA? So I knew that they didn't. So that was a sort of a teaching lesson, a teaching moment right then to educate the family on what FAFSA was.
Some states are taking the extra step in protecting students from debt. Yahoo Finance reported that Maine became a recent state to sign a new Student Loan Bill of Rights, which should allow students to seek protection from malpractice by student debt collectors.
When asked about a student loan bill of rights in North Dakota, Senator Heckerman didn't say that there was a need for one or that one was being considered.
Minnesota is the latest state to join a lawsuit against a proposed merger of major telecom companies, T-Mobile and Sprint. The complaint alleges the merger would increase cell phone prices, cut jobs, and hurt rural customers. The complaint also says the merger would reduce competition and its benefits. 13 other states are involved in that lawsuit.
Put this on your calendar for next week. It's a fun day with area law enforcement. On Monday, police in Moorhead and the deputies from Clay County Sheriff Department are holding the first ever bike rodeo and safety fair in the police department's parking lot. There's going to be emergency vehicle tours, demonstrations, and experts to teach lessons about staying safe while having fun this summer. That event starts 5:30 Monday evening.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with No Wait Weather.
And here's a live look outside the Valley News Live Storm Team Skycam Network shot in Fargo with mainly cloudy skies. And we got some light rain making its way through. That is going to be the story through most of the overnight and possibly into the day tomorrow. Current temperatures look like this: into the upper 60s to near 70 into Lakes Country, the Southern Valley, some lower 60s into the James River Valley, 64 right now at Devil's Lake, but the Northern Valley, northwestern Minnesota into the upper 60s. Winds still from a southeasterly direction. That's a pretty cool wind wind, around 10 to 20 miles per hour. And here's a look at the radar right now. Still mainly dry across our Minnesota counties, but we do have this large band of some light to moderate intensity rain continuing to make its way from west to east across our viewing area right now. Some moderate intensity rain about to enter the I-94 corridor from Valley City out toward Castleton, getting into the Fargo area. The rain will pick up in intensity. Some moderate to heavy rain near the Gwinner area and just off to the north of Jamestown. And it stretches into the Devil's Lake Basin. Some moderate to heavy rain just off to the north of Devil's Lake into the Langdon area, and some light rain now getting into the northern valley. So this whole thing will continue to very slowly make its way off to the north and to the east. It could take another 24 to 36 hours. This low pressure system way back here into portions of eastern Montana, and there's a lot of spin in the atmosphere out in this direction. They've seen a lot of funnel clouds, but the low is going to move into Canada. We're still waiting for this frontal boundary to make its way through, and that's going to take a little while. We did have the chance of some severe weather today. We did have cloud cover, but there was a lot of spin in the atmosphere. The warm sector well off to our south, so nothing really materialized, and that's going to be the story. We are not expecting severe weather tonight or for the day tomorrow, but a lot of rain from this one. Here's the rainfall estimate from yesterday and today. The yellows on this map are where over an inch of rain has fallen from Devil's Lake down toward the Valley City area, just off to the south of Fargo, approaching the Wahpeton-Breckenridge area, and 1 to 2 inches of rain into the Ellendale area, making your way south into Brown County. And this band of rain is going to continue to make its way through during the overnight. You might see a decrease in the intensity around the early morning hours, but the frontal boundary will stall over us. So going into your Saturday afternoon, the shower and thunderstorm activity could start up again. So we're going to say mostly cloudy skies, that chance of some showers and thunderstorms lasting through your day on Saturday. Temperatures staying cool for this time of year into the lower 70s into the Fargo area with the clouds and the rain. Across the region, not really going very far in terms of temperatures. Upper 60s and lower 70s in most places. Now, starting on Sunday at midnight, there's the last remnants of that rain continuing to make its way off to the east and dissipating. By Sunday morning, we should start to dry out. Decrease in clouds, partly cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny. Temperatures warming up, though, most of us into the mid to upper 70s, and it's the beginning of a really nice warming trend as we dry out. Here's the photo of the day. It's called The Duck, Grand Forks. Thank you to David for this one, using the background of the 7-day forecast. And for your Sunday, there's your high of 77, partly cloudy skies up to 78 Monday. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny Tuesday, lower 80s and mid 80s on Wednesday. And we're dry until around Thursday, Friday. We're warm to really, making our way into the hot territory, into the upper 80s to near 90, partly cloudy skies. And that might spark off some showers and some thunderstorms in the summer heat.
Our cars are being washed off as we speak.
Great.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and enjoy next week, finally, some sunshine.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Later on Valley News Live at 10, a terrifying moment for a child on a Minnesota playground, how a bike helmet led to a major scare right after the break.